States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Weaver, roll call.
Mr. Bailey?
Here.
Mrs. Bowsman? Here. Mr. Lentz?
Here.
Mr. Malone?
Here.
Mr. Reese?
Here.
Mrs. Rohrbach?
Here.
Mr. Shelley?
Here.
Mr. Shevler?
Here.
And Mr. Zepp.
Thank you. We should appoint for student recognitions. I'll turn this over to Dr. Mancuso.
As always, it's my pleasure to begin our school year recognizing all the fine achievements of our students. And so this evening we begin with our Students of the Month from the high school for the month of August, correct, Mr. Rickert? August and September. We butted those two together. So Mr. Rickert, high school principal, is here to present our Students of the Month.
Yep, I got it. Okay. Our first student of the month, it's going to be long, so be patient with me because these two are outstanding people, and I think you know them quite well. First student of the month is Daniel Slater. He's the son of Michael and Maggie Slater. He is involved in so many things that the list goes on and on. I'll try and get through it quickly, like I said. He organizes and helps lead the boxing technique class at Warehouse Athletics. He does weightlifting and powerlifting. He's trained for and competed in the Festivus Games for CrossFit competitions. Co-founded and served the secretary for Elizabeth Town Baptist and Gardening Club. Served as the president of the National Honor Society. Leads the Horn Farm Fundraising Committee for the held membership for the National Society of High School Scholars. Served as Eastern York's representative for Leadership York Futures Leaders of York program, the FLY program. Attended Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. Was a member of two weightlifting clubs at school. Designed a gifted independent study on principles of engineering, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Worked as a machine shop operator at Don's. Worked as agents at Elizabethtown Fitness and Performance. Participate in various community service projects, competitions, public areas, food pantries, and American Dream. Then, because he's not exciting enough all the time, he's also involved in AP statistics at the high school, AP history. He's involved in architectural drawing, some other classes, honors physics, but the one I want to highlight is the one I mentioned a little bit earlier, his gifted independent study. When you guys make a decision about students and what they do with their independent studies and what we do with internships, he is one of the people that is just tremendously he has an opportunity and is working with the engineers at UNSCO to be part of their research and development. So that's what he's doing on the side. It's my sincere pleasure to introduce Daniel as one of our September, August students of the month. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, Daniel's number 2 in his class as well. I know it's a little late, but 4.25, so not too bad, huh? This next one I'm excited to introduce again because you guys know her quite well. Our other student of the month is Jessica Rose, daughter of John and Sherry Rose. I'll remember her GPA at this point in time. She's number 1 in her class with a 4.613 GPA as of right now. So, what's she involved in? What's she not involved in? I'm joking with a lot of times we make decisions about how we do things at the high school. Her name will come up. How's this going to affect Jess Rose? How do clubs affect Jess Rose? How is this after-school activity going to affect Jess Rose? Because she's involved in so much. Just to name a couple of things: soccer manager, football manager, piano lessons, managed basketball for 2 years, shadowing the athletic trainer this winter and spring. School board rep, obviously, you guys know her over and over again. Club, she's involved in NHS, Science and Looking at Student Council, Interact Club, Yearbook Club, FFA, works at the Horse Farm, volunteers at Christ Creek Library. And I know the hours that she puts in are probably just as much outside of the school day for our school as what she puts in during the school day. She's an amazing person, and the GPA, but on top of that, she's in AP Bio, AP Stats, AP World History, Independent Study. Again, you guys really on for anatomy, and if you remember this, the Independent Study, you're the only one doing it in Egyptology. So we're very proud to have Jess and our other students. So. Thank you. And that's it for me. I know, I apologize for the length of time, but it was worth it.
Thank you, and congratulations to you both. Thank you very much. Reached the point for student representative report, so Jessica will go right.
Okay, so we'll start off with Christ Creek. They have launched their 2022-2023 PBIS and Team Armor program. This included their first school-wide assembly during the first week of school. These fun times have been few and far between since COVID flipped our schools upside down. Everyone has been involved, students and adults, enjoying the time, celebrating, and having fun together in person. Students even had the opportunity to answer trivia questions, beating Mrs. Crowell, school counselor, and Dr. Malloy, principal, leading to a wild, silly string attack on the two. This month, each class will have the opportunity to earn a chance to play Plinko when they meet their classroom goals by working together and displaying the leadership characteristics that represent our Team Armor house. Each class has a stab at winning cool prizes, including a possible class treat, extra house tickets, and even an extra recess. In Canadockley, Armor lessons are also up and running, and they are already on track to earn their first rewards from accruing 8,000 Armor points in live school. The lead story, however, is the Apex Leadership Fun Run. After a couple of high-energy pep rallies, classes have been visited each day by Apex athletes who teach short leadership lessons aligned with our Armor program. As this plays out over the next several days, they will continue receiving pledges of support from family and community members for a fun run on Thursday, September 22nd. Between the leadership lessons, fun activities and prizes, and fundraising to support our PTO, this has been a great experience for their school so far. They encourage you to check out their social media posts over the next few days if you'd like to learn more or contribute. In Wrightsville, they kicked off their 2022-23 school year with a school-wide assembly to promote the motto, Be the Change, and to introduce the character education program, Teamology, and its superheroes. September's theme will focus on the character trait of helping and our superhero Harper. This year, they will continue to develop student leadership with the inaugural DeVille Armor Team, which will be comprised exclusively of 5th grade students who have completed the application process. The goal of the team is to develop student voice in the decisions that are made in the school and to help students cultivate their capacity to lead. Students will be involved in planning the monthly assemblies and promoting a positive school climate through various activities. In the middle school, according to Pennsylvania Positive Behavioral Support Network, the middle school met criteria for implementing school-wide or program-wide positive behavior interventions and supports with fidelity at Tier 1 to 2 during the 2021-22 school year. They will receive a badge to be added to the school's PAPBS banner. Congratulations to former Principal Keith Shoemaker and Assistant Principal Andrew Pry on this outstanding achievement. And lastly, in the high school, our school year has started off, so fall sports have also been kicked off. We held an assembly on August 30th about suspending stress through the Burns Center, and we also had our back to school night on that same day. Our school-wide Day 5 and 6 clubs began yesterday. Student Council has reopened the Knights Cafe for another year. On September 30th, Student Council is hosting a at the home football game against West York to tackle childhood cancer. And on October 4th, volleyball is hosting a Pink Out for breast cancer awareness. The students are also all excited for our half day tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. And you guys, you're welcome to stay, both of you, or do you?
I have a soccer game to go to.
That is way more important than this. I'm shocked that you have something else to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reached the point of the agenda for the educational presentation. Mr. Enders, I think we'll turn that over to you.
Thank you. I'm going to turn things over to Mrs. Caitlin Gump. She's our Director of Special Education, and she's here this evening to share with an update with the board about, we recently took the life skills class on autistic support back from the IU, and she's just going to share an update on how things are going here at Eastern Work with those classrooms. Yeah. Just give us 1 second to load up.
Good evening. So the first thing that I wanted to give you an update on is a co-teaching initiative that we are doing this year as a district. So the first thing you might be thinking is why co-teaching? Research has shown that students perform better in a co-taught setting versus a traditional setting with just one teacher. During the teacher in-service, we did provide co-teaching training that the IU staff came and provided for us to 30 regular education teachers and 10 special education teachers. And to give you an idea of what it looks like in the building, at the high school level, the high school teachers are paired based on their certification area as much as possible. So we have, for example, one of our special education teachers who is math certified is working with the math department. And at the elementary level, we really had the special education teachers focus in on the core subjects. So the teachers are pushing in to co-teach mainly in math and reading. District-wide expectations for this initiative include shared teaching and grading responsibilities, using inclusive language such as our students, we are the teachers, it's our classroom, language that kind of has the students thinking both adults in the classroom are professionals. And then also communication from both of the teachers to students and families. We are offering a follow-up training tomorrow that is required for any of the staff participating in co-teaching, where the IU is coming back to kind of follow up and see how it's been going so far since we've started this. And then the other area that I wanted to bring attention to and really recognize is the life skills and autism classrooms that we brought back from the IU this year. So as you can see, I have pictures of both of the staff in both of the classrooms, and staffing was a huge challenge over the summer, and we were very fortunate to find a rockstar team for both of these classrooms. And I wanted to just make sure that you all had names to faces and really appreciate the work that they do and the dedication that they put into our students every single day. From left to right, I do want to bring their names up. So the left picture is the life skills classroom. We have teaching assistant Rachel Lloyd, teaching assistant Ursula Girardi, the teacher, Mr. Brian Baker, who is also sitting in the audience tonight, and we have Haley Reinhardt, who is a PCA for one of our students. And then on the right side, we have the autism classroom. We have teaching assistant Erin Everly, teaching assistant Tracy Neese, the teacher, Caitlin Uffelman, and David Castro, who is a PCA. And at this time, I want to also introduce Desiree Hess, who is a parent of one of the students in the autism classroom, to share what it's been like for her and her son as we brought back the classroom from the IU to the district. I'll see if I can tag out.
Is it me?
It's you, go ahead.
Hello.
Good
My name
evening.
is Desiree. I am Brooks' mom, the one who's been walking around your meeting here. He is spicy autistic with a side of ADHD and currently nonverbal. He has been in the autistic support classroom since it's been at Riceville, so this is his third year in the autistic support classroom, which we are so grateful that it's so close to home. We don't live right in Wrightsville, but we're about 10 minutes away. We used to drive from Elizabethtown to Lebanon for school, so we really appreciate that the classroom is here in the school district. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the transition from being at the LIU to now being just in the school district, which we looked forward to because it makes it feel like it's more community-based. You know who you're going to, who you need to seek out for if you need help or information. It's a lot more consolidated, which feels good. Definitely was worried last year, leaving the school year to an empty classroom. But by the end of the summer, all those worries were gone. And I do want to highlight his personal care assistant, David. He's the last guy on that one picture there. He is an absolute gem. He gets it without even having to be told, which with Brooks you have to. He's like a book without words, and all the pictures are abstract, and you have to figure it out. And David seems to be able to get it immediately. Now that the school is in the League of Innovation, the mantra for the Digital Promise is finding individual plans for each student and targeting that so they can progress. And David's been doing that right off the bat. I mean, for computer class, most of them use the Chromebooks. And Brooks kind of was struggling with the Chromebook because he really likes touchscreens. So David suggested, hey, can we get an iPad instead? And he excels on the iPad. So David's already, with it without even having to be instructed. We are also very excited to have Kate Uffleman, sorry if I say it wrong. It was reassuring knowing that she had already previously had her own autistic support classroom elsewhere. So it was really great knowing that we have someone who's good to go coming in. Sierra last year was great, and we were definitely to lose her, so having Kate come in was just amazing. I also have to say Mr. Baker, Brian, is so great. He made sure that the staff coming in could know everything they needed to know about each kid. He literally cares about the whole special needs program as a whole, not just his own kids in his classroom. That's absolutely obvious and for sure. So he's such an asset. He's great. This is Brooks. He doesn't like your meeting, I'm sorry.
Most people don't.
He's just very much more obvious about it.
He's just expressing on the outside what we all feel on the inside.
Sure, yeah.
That type of behavior is in this room quite a bit. Not a big deal.
Okay, well, it's not as acceptable from adults, but that's okay, we're working on it. But yeah, I wanted to come in and just say how great and how much we're looking forward to this year and how everything is seeming to be changing. The mantra behind the Digital Promise is something I think that special needs classrooms have been doing. And I think it's good for other kids, the regular kids, to get that same teaching experience because it's much more individualized and personalized. And it'll make the kids feel special and feel seen, So I think that whole Digital Promise is really great. I can't think of anything else I want to say about the transition.
Desiree, thank you very much for coming in this evening and sharing your comments with us. I think that is very important for our Board of School Directors to hear how pleased you are, because I know that when we had conversations last spring about whether we wanted to actually bring back our life skills class and our autistic support classes, that when we have the staff, we have everything. Well, I'm just so pleased that you are pleased that we are meeting the expectations that we had hoped to when we brought those 2 classrooms back, because those are our kids, those are our Eastern kids, and I want that to be recognized, that they belong to us.
Yeah.
And so we're happy that the final decision by our Board of School Directors was to bring those two programs back into our district and employ those teachers as our own.
Yeah, I agree, because it's extremely important to us that these classrooms are here and close to home and available. And, you know, so then you're with the people of your community, not another town
Right.
45 minutes away, so. Keep doing it.
I appreciate your research on the Digital Promise League of Innovative Schools. You spent a little time
Well, because I
figuring
was like, what the
that out.
heck is this? It was very vague in the letter, and I was like, okay, well, let me see exactly what it's about, so. But-
Yeah, and thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it is definitely good for us to hear that, because a lot of things we do, we approve here, we're not there day to day the way they are. So it's great. I appreciate you coming in and explaining,
Because as you can
how
see,
you're
kids
feeling
like
this.
Brooks are not your typical kid. They can be quite difficult, in a sense. So these classes are extremely, extremely important. You know, and the staff is even more important because, most teachers don't risk being bitten on a daily basis, and they do. They do, you know, and it's, they deserve way more than they get. But I know that there's only limits to what we can do as a school, but they deserve $1 million a year.
Thank you very much.
So if you have that million, give it to them.
All right.
I'm gonna run, because he's.
We
he's
understand.
not-
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
appreciate it.
Is it Brian?
Brooks.
Here's your
Yeah,
keys.
Brian, on Mr. Baker.
I'm Brian, yeah,
Brian,
yes.
please tell the rest of the folks up there that aren't there that we deeply appreciate, I'm glad you're here, that we deeply appreciate everything they do. It is extremely a difficult class to keep your cool
Yes.
and like she said, you get the opportunity to get bitten once in a while, so that's kind of neat. So, but listen, please, I'm dead serious, please tell everyone in there how grateful we are for all that they do. It is a challenge.
Yes.
It is a serious challenge, and I want to say thank you, and it's deeply and it's heartfelt.
And we're all, it's a great team.
It's
Mrs.
hard to
Gump did a
find a
great
good
job.
team like that.
Yeah, finding and
It
whoever
really
else
is.
was a part of it. We have excellent teams this year.
Thank you for all you do. It's a tough job, so thank you.
How many kids do you have in each classroom?
We have 8. Is this
No, yeah, I'm not sure.
on? We have 8 in the autism classroom and 9 now in the life skills classroom.
How far can you go up until we need some more staff?
So autism is maxed out.
Autism is maxed out.
Yep, the state only allows 8, and life skills, we can go up to 15 at the elementary level. So we have a little bit of space there.
So if we have more kids that are autistic, what's the game plan?
Well, we do have kids that have autism that we have placed outside of the district. So with bringing back this classroom was maxed out when we brought it back. And we have since had more students enroll or have been identified with autism, and we have put kids placed throughout the county. So it's definitely something on my radar to consider additional classrooms.
Yeah, when you say kids placed outside, how many are you talking about?
We have about 4 right now at the elementary level placed.
And how many more kids do you have in the pipeline that might get?
So far, 1 that's on my radar off the top of my head at the elementary level.
So all these are elementary then?
Yes,
So that would be 5 students, we're almost up to
a full classroom.
a full classroom.
Great minds think alike, Joe.
Well, you know where I'm coming from, John.
You know where I'm coming from.
What's been your experience when this population is not under our umbrella? I know we watch over them when we have them at different places. What's your thoughts about having them in our brick and mortar as opposed to placed out? What's your thoughts about that?
I mean, I definitely think it's easier to manage and oversee what is going on a day-to-day basis. I mean, just for an example, this week I had a student that we placed at Dallastown School District in one of their elementary programs. It was a student that moved in. And the parents, were a little disappointed that we had no space here in our district, but they were appreciative that we found another district that was willing to kind of contract with us and work with us to provide those services. So just from family standpoints, I know a lot of times when we do have to place our kids outside, they want to be in our buildings because they are our students. So
Sure.
just from that standpoint alone, partnership with families, we want to be able to please them and have them be educated in the district they live in.
Mrs. Weaver, when we send a student to Dallastown, what's that costing us?
I don't know the Dallastown number off the top of my head, but I haven't seen that final contract. It's about $23,400.
How much?
$23,400
Per student?
per student.
For one student.
Yes. And we have several of them that go to New Story, which is, I don't know if you know that number right off.
That varies based on the level
Yeah.
of need of the kid. And there are a time and place for students to be placed out, so New Story is very specialized, but we have, I didn't even include the kids that are in New Story in the numbers when you asked me, because that is a more specialized program, but we have other kids that are placed at Work Learning Center in a classroom that we would be able to provide if we had the space. And the IU is a little bit more money than the districts, and Work County districts are starting to work together more to offer services when we can. So when we can, I try to partner with the district before the IU just because it is a cheaper cost.
Yeah, the IU cost is about $33,000 to $35,000 per student.
Plus transportation.
Yeah, all this is plus transportation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just the education cost.
So if we have 4 kids that we've got placed elsewhere, we're looking at potentially $120,000 to $130,000 we're
Correct.
spending on that?
Correct.
Have we looked at,
But the
have we looked at that with the idea that bringing that in-house might be more cost-effective and obviously better for the community?
I think it's
You said
definitely
they were
on
maxed
Mrs.
out though,
Gump's
that's what I
radar.
didn't
Well,
understand.
they need another teacher.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They're
they need
maxed out
another teacher
because-
plus 3 aides, or, 3 more aides.
So if you got another teacher and 3 aides,
You have
Right.
another classroom. and
you have another classroom and you could lessen the amount of students in one classroom. I mean,
Well, you don't.
Yeah, but-
potentially kind of thing.
Potentially, but what I'm looking at is, like she said, she already has one in the pipeline, and we're only in
She's
a
already
month
got
of
5 in the
school.
second class.
And,
Well, labor is the issue.
Oh, yeah.
It's a toughie, it's a difficult thing to staff.
but we could end up with 8 kids real quick to fill that autism
Okay,
classroom.
well, excuse me, do we have the room in our buildings right now that we could potentially expand to another classroom? We have to check that out,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
I'm sure
I know at
there's
Frank's
space
Creek
at
we would
Wrightsville,
not.
but I know
And
at Frank's Creek it may
Canadockley,
not be a
most
issue.
likely will be tight too, so it would most likely have to be offered here, because at Wrightsville, we took the open class, or excuse me, at Canadockley, we took the open classroom for our pre-K counts program.
You could put it in the admin area.
Mr. Shelley, did you have a question?
Yes, I am going to speak from a little bit of personal experience on several different occasions over many, many years. And I can tell you, it takes everybody to deal with a situation like that, starting with the bus driver. I mean, they have a tremendous responsibility in coping with situations similar to what we witnessed here tonight. And not only bus drivers, cafeteria people, and certainly teachers are the most important in this whole opportunity to train these kids. I can speak from experience that it does work. If you take these children and work with them, you can provide, you can get them to be contribute to society. That there's things that every one of these kids can do. There's rare exceptions that they can't. So I guess what I really want to say, you saw a little demonstration here tonight, made me feel good, but it just didn't start. Eastern has a record over many years of handling this type of situation. I understand it's very difficult to get somebody, whether it's an aide or whether it's a teacher, to handle these things. It takes a lot of something that it's a special person dealing with a special person. And my hats are off to them, having personal experience. And again, congratulations to you and your teachers and aides, and they're all important. I mean, extremely important. So that's just my personal feeling.
Thank you, Mr. Shelley. And I would be remiss if I didn't publicly thank Caitlin, because she spent the time, energy, and effort to bring the programs back to the district. And so she said, this is what you're going to look at potentially saving, this is what it's going to take, this is the curriculum that we need. So she had it all laid out for us when we sat down to talk about it, and it made the process so much easier because Caitlin had everything handled. So Caitlin, thank you very much for the work that you did on bringing these classrooms back to the district. And I know you have other plans that you'll continue to work at as we look at how we can bring other programs back to Eastern.
Take care of our kids.
Caitlin, if there's anything you need that you
Talk
feel
to Dr. Mancuso.
Talk to Dr. Mancuso. Thank you very much.
She knows the footpath to that office, believe me.
She's not shy?
Not at all.
I do have one last slide just to kind of wrap up. So just to give you a heads up too of things in the works, our school psychologist, now that we have an additional one, her official start date is October 3rd. But they are going to be working to create videos that we are going to begin to send out to families as their student becomes evaluated through the special education process, just to kind of make that more transparent. It's a lot of language sometimes when parents first get a document, they're not really sure what to look at, how to read it, how to understand it. So those are some things in the works, just because as the 3 words up there state, our department continues to want to partner and be a team with families committed to forward progress. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Just one thing. I don't know if, I know you've heard this, but sometimes we forget. Eastern's been noted for people with special needs that want to move in and do move into Eastern York School District. That puts a little special burden on it, but it's one we should feel good about it because we are contributing to these children to get them to be successful contributors to society, and it does work. So that's the reason maybe we have so many. And I don't know if we have many at the moment, but I've heard, didn't anybody else ever hear that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like I say, it's indication that it's been around a long time.
Success. Over the years, I've had 2 or 3 parents come to me and say that the reason they moved here was because of the program.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Caitlin, if you don't mind, could you turn off the projector, please? No, okay. Thank you. We just did.
Okay. Reached the point of the agenda for hearing of the patrons. This portion is for agenda items only. There will be another opportunity where you can speak on any items toward the end. So do we have any patrons for agenda items? Okay. Approval of previous board minutes.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second on, actually we'll do 6.1 and 6.2 for August 18th and September 6th. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Treasurer's report, Mr. Chevalier.
Yes, if you look in the agenda manager, you'll find a copy of the general fund balance as of August 31st. Also, the student activity and food services balances for the same date. And will be in Mrs. Weaver's report approving the general fund expenditures.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the treasurer's report. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the treasurer's report? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Secretary's report, Mrs. Weaver.
Thank you. The first item I have is under budget and finance. I would be asking for a motion for 8.1 through 8.6.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for 8.1 through 8.6. Questions, comments at all?
On reopening the budget, are you going to give us a list of what that's going to entail?
I can. So that, the reopening of the budget was really specifically for the safety and security. So we wouldn't spend that whole amount. We would just spend the portion when we do approve that contract.
Oh, okay.
And then the grants, the board will see those too as well.
Oh, Ms. Weaver, I know I seconded the thing, but the only thing I couldn't pull up was the musical rights contract. I do have it now. Finally, it was sitting there grinding away for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything unique that, in the musical rights thing that is noteworthy?
No, it's very much.
That's what you
similar.
pay yearly
Yeah.
for the music.
I think the cost was only like $5 more or less than last year. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's like.
$5 less.
Yeah, I thought that was fairly cheap compared to everything else.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes.
The next item I have is under operations. I would be asking for a motion for 9.1 through 9.7.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on 9.1 through 9.7. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And then I don't have any donations or disposals. The last item I have is under miscellaneous, and it is to approve the PSBA slate of candidates. I'd be asking for a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Questions, comments?
This isn't the thing where we vote for these, I mean, didn't we all vote for these guys?
Yeah, this is actually where you're voting for them to be the officers for this year for PSBA.
Okay.
And all of them are running unopposed.
I got you, okay. I just didn't remember that we had to approve them once they were all elected in.
Yeah.
Kind of
This is actually just for their officers.
For their office, okay.
So very similar to our December meetings.
Right, we voted them as reps, now that.
Now we're voting them to be president or whatever office they
Yes.
decide to do.
Any questions, comments? Other than that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Weaver.
Yeah, and the only other thing I just want to mention is under informational is the tentative board dates for next year were put in there just for the board's reference. We won't approve them until December, but if you want to look at them now to have them in advance, they are under informational. So you'll keep seeing those every month until December.
Okay.
I don't see.
It's down like
18.4, again, they were just
Oh, all the way down.
informational, just
I got
it's
it.
that time of year to start thinking about your meetings for next year. Thank you, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Weaver. Superintendent's report, Dr. Mancuso.
Thank you, Mr. Malone. Starting with 12.0, Superintendent's Report Personnel, motion to approve 12.1 through 12.5.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 12.1 through 12.5. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
No curriculum items this evening, so let's move to 14.0, Superintendent's Report Policy. Motion to approve 14.1 through 14.7.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second for 14.1 through 14.7. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
15.0, Superintendent Report, New Business. Motion to approve 15.1.
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Coach, right?
Always.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Dr. Mancuso.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. That's all I have.
Okay. I don't have anything for the President's report, so we'll go right into committee reports. Budget and Finance, Mr. Chevalier.
There was no budget and finance meeting this month. There was, however, an operations.
Yep, I'll just let you go right into it.
I figured you would. There was an operations committee meeting on the 13th, 2 days ago. We discussed the athletic field study update. We talked about mental health first aid training and also had a presentation on Z-Space. Minutes for those meetings are all in the agenda manager.
Any questions or anything for Mr. Chevalier? Okay.
Are there any action items from those meetings from Tuesday to today?
What was the?
The Z,
We voted.
it's up earlier.
Yeah.
On
That-
the finance side.
And fixing the roofs and all that we
It's
already
all
projected.
bubbled on
Yeah.
and
Mr. Reese, roll right into you for
Right.
co-curricular policy.
You have the minutes there from our co-curricular meeting. The next co-curricular meeting is October 7th,
Correct.
Friday at 11 o'clock up at the high school. We already have 2 items on the agenda for then, the naming of the basketball court and also looking at the press box options. Hopefully better than $280,000.
What day is that meeting, Jim?
Friday, October 7th, 11 o'clock.
Got it. Thank you.
Policy, I haven't gotten any yet, but I'm
You
assuming.
have 3
some-
waiting for you.
Oh, I do, okay, thank you.
Where's the options?
You
for
guys
the-
had to do that, right?
Oh, I have a lot more too.
Oh, you have a lot more too. Gee,
He
thanks.
has about 20, but they're still in
20?
review.
I'm working as fast as possible.
They're updates to current policies.
Okay.
Jim, where's your recommendations for the press box coming from? Is that just like everybody bring their idea? Is that coming from a?
No, hopefully
Everybody bring
ELA
it.
is coming up with some new, and also Donnie, and I know Todd's supposed to be contacting VOTEC, and.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a, whatever you guys think, let's look over it.
No, no.
Okay, thank God.
And remember, they're also going to be calling, your captain, to find out what information they
Oh,
got
that's
from
right.
theirs.
That was your-
We're following up on that, and we're actually looking at trying to contact some bleacher companies ourselves direct.
Yeah.
It looked like there's at least some opportunity in that list of costs that we got Tuesday and to reduce
Yes.
some costs in there, so I would encourage everybody to kind of peel that apart a little bit if we can.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't take 3 years to get it
Are
done.
you planning to be at the meeting?
Of course.
Okay.
That's me.
Write that down.
Friday, October 7th, 11 o'clock at the high school.
I got it.
Personally, think we ought to go and look at it, though. You know, I haven't looked.
Definitely.
At the press box.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that.
You know, maybe that same day you can plan it.
Yep.
Set it
I'll
up.
fix the weather for that day, okay?
Okay, fix the weather,
So
yeah.
we can go outside in a nice
All right.
weather.
All right.
It won't be snowing yet. A little field.
All right, that's it, Jason.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shelley, York County School of Technology.
Okay. Mr. Bailey and I did attend the August 25th meeting of vocational technical school. This was one day after the start of school, so it was limited on how much information was handed out. But if I understand, and Mr. Bailey, you may want to correct me in there, so maybe somebody else can. We were told that 1,656 students arrived. Now that doesn't mean that it's not going to be more or less, because that was the first day. And my understanding, it just seems a little high, but I've written it down, that from Eastern it was 94. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's a little bit higher, and that's good. You know, my opinion is good, and many other people share that's okay. They gave a numbers on part-time flex program. That if you remember, the flex programs permits a student, even though they don't attend vocational school at their regular school, they're at Eastern, they can still go in there for several hours a day and take any program. If they want to be a carpenter on the side, they can learn, or a plumber, or whatever. So it's a little far for Eastern, and I think that's one of the lower numbers of schools that send their kids there. Some schools send none. 10 of 14 members were present. They're handed out a handout, and you have a copy of it, and it's self-explanatory. It just tells you what the programs are and what the benefits are from some of them. Mr. Bailey's been attending with me for several years, and we had a parent complaint, and the reason I bring it up because it's extremely rare, and it had to do with kids driving their automobiles or dune buggies or motorcycles, whatever, after school in the afternoon. It gets pretty loud. So this parent was there talking in the development, but this parent was not obnoxious. He was very helpful. He offered to help solve the situation. But it is there, and that was an unusual complaint. But as Mr. Bailey said later, that's a rare exception at VOTEC. Now wait a minute, I just have a couple other things. The next meeting is when? Next week, I believe. Yeah, hold on. Well, I lost my numbers, but whatever. The next meeting is coming next Thursday night. And Mr. Bailey, if you have anything you want to contribute, I wish you would do so.
I think on that, you're talking about the complaint, I think we'll have an update from the school next meeting on that, so I'm sure.
What's that on the discipline?
On the street racing thing, so they were pretty engaged on taking care of that.
One other thing did come to mind, I didn't have written down, but maybe you can help out in this. They have, for a couple of years, they called hot rods, I believe, is that what they said?
Mm-hmm.
A hot rod is an automobile that these kids from VOTEC and all over the country, and they did compete in, I believe it was out in California this past.
I think it's in Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah, right. What they have to do is they go in and they tear down a motor and put it back together. And it's all on a time schedule. And it is using the right tools, and they just don't compete, they won several categories. That's a pretty impressive thing. And
Now, do they simulate a pit stop, or are they tearing down a motor and putting
No.
it back up?
the motor is in a shop.
Yeah, just stand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's on a stand, and they're told to go, and they're, they got to do it right and in time, because if you use the wrong tools, that goes against you. And if you put something, should be in the front end of the car, it's in the back end, that don't go good either. But anyhow, we are impressed, and I'm sure, I don't know if you want to say anything about that, though.
I think the only thing we're gonna see with that program is electric cars.
Well, yeah.
And more engines.
Yeah, what did you ask me a question about? What about, how are they gonna deal? Well, they won't be able to tear down the motors.
Yeah, yeah, they won't be able to tear them down.
Actually, that's not true. You
Might
can
be
tear
a-
down an electric motor.
No, I'm sorry.
You can tear down an electric motor. They can be torn down.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, rewind them, is that kind of the story?
Yeah, they can rewind them.
Windings, brushes, there's all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
It's common, guys,
Oh, yeah.
whether we like it or don't, but, that concludes my report, and that's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Mr. Zepp, York County School of Technology Authority and York Adams Academy.
On the authority, we didn't have a meeting.
Okay.
We're just paying the bills, just kind of, that kind of thing. As you know, the construction's all wrapped up. York Adams Academy had a meeting. The only really noteworthy thing, other than the normal stuff, is, one, I want to report on the budgetary stuff. I won't go through that since we have another school come in. So the other thing is, they're doing a promotional video for the York Adams Academy, and I'm a little excited about that because I don't think that York Adams Academy gets enough fanfare for what they do, frankly. So I'm kind of excited to see what they get done at the end of the day, and I'd like to bring that here and show everybody, as long as it's not a matinee. So, but it should be very, very, very good. That's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Rohrbaugh, LIU 12.
The minutes for our September 6th meeting were attached to agenda manager, you can read them. They did fill 10 professional positions and 24 support positions, so they're making headway since they reopened their salary. Meeting.
Thank you, Mrs. Rohrbaugh. Reached the point of the agenda for final board comments or questions.
The only question I have is, for the junior ROTC, what is the projected? I wasn't here for the meeting.
You
Not to give me a
can't ask.
pass.
You weren't here to vote
I
for
wasn't
it.
here,
You weren't here.
and you guys carried the water, I appreciate it. Well, I carried the water for 18 years, you guys can do one meeting.
January.
January?
You're
This is why these meetings go long, because the other side can't keep.
January to hopefully have our two staff members
They
placed.
advertised right now, I just got an update about a week or so ago. They've advertised for the two positions. As soon as they have enough candidates to select, they'll send them to us and we'll actually do the interview process and the selection process. So we have a good say in that, and I'm excited about that. And then in January, they want to come on board, start to set up their equipment, start to set up their classrooms, start to do some promotion in the high school so that we can get enough kids together and utilize that in the opening days next year. So that's where we are with that right now.
And the opening day is when you start to recruit for that program that's going to start roughly.
The cadets will start next school year. They will recruit this spring. They will recruit this spring. They did give me the option, depending on how quickly we get the hiring process in. If we can find a way to put the courses in for the cadets, the first year courses in the spring, then they're okay if we put that in. I don't know if we'll be able to do that because I'm still waiting to see what kind of candidate pool they have for us.
I'm hoping we get a good pool of candidates to pick from. That's one thing I've really been a little nervous about. I think it's going to be pretty slim pickups, frankly. So
That's our concern as well.
It is.
yeah. So okay, well, good luck. Thank you, Dr. Mancuso. I appreciate it.
Mr. Shelley?
The program's coming, it's a wonderful program, at least what I know of it is, but I think we should maybe start not notifying, our service-oriented programs within the community. I'm talking about veteran associations. Would it be advantage to communicate with them that this program look forward to having them support us in the future. You know, there's many programs that I believe they will. They're looking for projects, which we talked about earlier in this whole thing. They have to spend their money on some things, and let it be here with education. I just think it's a grand opportunity to expose it to the people, and they will expose it to many other people, my opinion. Now, if it takes somebody from this group, administration or board, to assist on that, I think we should use them. You know, community people that, and I'm not saying people outside, that's okay, but we should also get the community people here and be part of that presentation. Because I think it will be a big thing for Eastern York School District for years to come.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Anybody else have anything? Okay, reached the point of the agenda for hearing of the patrons for final patron comments. Do you have anything on any topic? Okay, if we have none, we do have to have an executive session regarding
Contract.
contract. So we can adjourn the meeting now, correct? And
There'll
then
be no vote
there'll be no
taken.
voting or anything taking place on that. So, a motion? Do we have a
So
second?
moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we can just do it in here, and then,
Yes.
like I said, we're just, you may need to